Hello, my name is Peter. I am a chess enthusiast and this is my first video lesson. I will talk here about the basics of chess strategy, what is the essence of chess itself, and on the basis of one of my own games I will give you some hopefully easy to understand examples of how to play the opening and middle game. I will talk about how to attack and defend, what to do and what not to do, and I will explain some critical positional aspects of the game. This lesson is intended for all those who already know how the pieces move, but have limited or no understanding of chess strategy itself. First of all, let's think about what is the goal in a chess game. Well, as in any game really, the goal should be to win. There are two ways to win a game of chess. First is to checkmate the enemy king. It means hitting the king in such a way that he cannot escape anymore. It's kind of obvious when you think, right? Checkmate the enemy king. So the goal is simple. But how do we do it? There are many pieces on the board that protect the enemy king, and the opponent is trying to mate our king as well, and if he is not completely stupid, he's not going to make it easy for us, right? Giving a checkmate can be done either by a direct attack on the enemy position, which is often accompanied by a positional sacrifice and finished by a flashy tactical blow. In fact, this is less common in practical game. Most games are decided by winning material. In a sense, you may want to capture a more valuable piece of your opponent with a less valuable piece of your own. This is also called gaining quality. Or you may want to capture a piece of your opponent for free. That would be nice. In most cases, even the slightest material advantage, that is a pawn up, for example, or 2 pawns up, in equal position often lead to a win. Being a whole piece up, such as a bishop or a knight, is a sure win in most cases. That is, unless you make a horrible blunder or your opponent has some other compensation for it, such as a winning attack. If he has a winning attack and is checkmating your king, then obviously being a piece up doesn't really help you much. Anyway, winning opponent's pieces should be one of your main goals. Superior to this goal is only giving the checkmate itself or preventing a checkmate of your own, that is, defending your king, of course. Now, that is clear what the goal of chess is. I would like to explain the two main aspects of the game, which are often confused by beginners, and these are the tactics and strategy. So what is it really? What is tactics and what is chess strategy? To put it very simply, strategy is what to do in the game, what is the goal, such as checkmating the king, attacking, defending. That's strategy. What is tactics? Well, tactics is the means to do this goal, to achieve this goal. Tactics can be, in most cases, a combination of concrete moves that lead either to a material advantage or to a direct checkmate. On the other hand, example of a strategic or positional move can be to create a weakness in a position, or to secure your own king, or to get your pieces out, or to gain control of an important square or a diagonal or a file. These are strategic goals. So, usually in a game of chess, a strong player firstly creates a strategy of what he wants to do and then executes his plan, sometimes with the help of tactics. I do not want to go deeper into this point in this lecture, but I will show on my game some examples of positional and tactical play. Okay, so now the game itself. I played this game not long time ago against a friend of mine who is not a very good player, he's still learning, but this game is a good illustration of a successful attack and failed defense. Sorry, that was my screensaver just popping up. Okay, so it was a very common opening. It was called the Italian game. It's one of the most common and still commonly played on all levels, really. I was white. Well, I opened the game with the e4 move. That means the pawn to e4 in front of my king. Well, this has several purposes. One of them is obviously to gain space in the center. So this pawn now is controlling these two fields. Also, this bishop now is open to move on this diagonal, right? So, and also the queen is able to move out. So this is a universal multi-purpose move. Well, black answered with e5, which is very solid, and leads to the mentioned Italian game. I continued with knight f3, bringing up the piece and attacking the black pawn on e5. So black has to react, obviously. He should defend. He chose the knight c6 continuation, so he's at the same time developing a piece and defending his pawn here, which is probably the best continuation here. I continued with bishop c4, again bringing up a piece, attacking a weak point in enemy camp, and also moving this bishop outside of the pawn chain, because later I'm going to move this pawn here and create my pawn chain here. So I want my bishop here to be outside, so that it's not blocked by its own pawns. So this is a small example of a positional aspect of the game, of what you want to do when you plan your structure and you plan your strategy here. Okay, so my opponent went h6, which is not really a good move, but it's not a mistake. It's just a small waste of time in this case, because, well, it doesn't achieve much. It's just preventing any of my pieces coming here, but, well, that was not an immediate intention anyway. I continued with c3, which has the idea that I want to take my center with d4 in the next move, if possible. My opponent plays knight f6, hitting this pawn, so essentially it's preventing d4. I cannot play d4 now. I have to protect my pawn, because I don't want to lose it, obviously. So I did this. I protected the pawn with d3. Now my opponent made a small mistake. He went d6, wanting to fianchetto his bishop here and then control this diagonal. It is not a big mistake, but in this position it is probably more advisable for his bishop to control this diagonal, not this one, because this is blocked by these pieces. My center is quite strong, and if his bishop gets here on b7, it doesn't really do much. It's not a bad move, but it doesn't do much. There are better moves in this position. Like, he could have played, for example, d6, which is very reasonable, opening the line of his bishop so that he can go to one of these squares, and also protecting this pawn, which means then that this knight is free to move, because he doesn't have to protect it from the attack of this knight anymore. Anyway, so he went b6 here, and I continued with queen e2, which served the purpose that, well, first of all, I'm clearing my back rank here, and I'm also protecting this pawn, and I'm preparing later to further push this pawn onwards and to claim the center, because to claim the center means you get an advantage. Whoever controls the center more can have an advantage Well, you might wonder why is this so? Why is the center so important? Well, it has to do with the fact that if your pieces are in the center, they control more squares than from the side of the board, for example. And well, center is usually the place where most action is taking place and where most games are decided. Also, if you want to attack, you usually need some control of the center, otherwise you will fall to a quick counter-attack of your opponent if your center is not strong enough. Anyway, my opponent now tried to copy my move, and he put the queen on e7, just to put it on the same square, well, in the mirror image as my queen. But this is not a good move. It's not good because this queen on e7 here, well, first of all, where does the queen want to go? You should always think, what is the next move? So what do you want to do next? And it's not clear at all if the queen goes here, what to do next. Because the queen doesn't really have any good squares. Well, the only square it can go is here or here, but then, well, it's not really achieving much. And you don't want to put your queen out too early because it will be hit by enemy pieces and you will lose time retreating. Second point is that this bishop now on f8 is blocked. Normally he would like to get out. He would like to go here or perhaps here, but now he cannot. So yeah, and this also means that the king is stuck in the center because of this bishop. So now all his pieces are kind of stepping on each other's toes. Whereas my pieces, my bishop, see, the difference is my bishop is already outside the pawn chain. So that's why my queen can nicely sit here on e2. It's not blocking anything. It's not blocking my king, not blocking the bishop. So this is a subtle difference, but it's very important to realize that you always should keep in mind what is the next move when you move some move, and that you don't block your own pieces. Okay, now I played b4, and the main reason is that I want to prevent knight coming here so that he doesn't threaten my bishop here. Also later I might want to push on with b5 and chase this knight away. He played e6, which again is a poor move because it doesn't really achieve much. It's on the edge of the board and there's no gain from this really. And well, he's losing time. I'm simply developing my other knight here. And now he plays a5, which is kind of peculiar. And I don't know what he tries to do, but now he could have moved this in one go. He chose in two goes and in two moves, and well, now I have a good move at my disposal, which is b5. I can just pass without taking, and now he has to retreat his knight, so he's losing more time again. Well, he retreated to knight a7, which is probably the worst possible retreat, because, well, from this square the knight only gets to 3 fields, but all of these 3 are either occupied by his own piece or they are under my control. So this knight is just stuck there. Well, a much better retreat would have been this to d8, with the idea to move to e6 and then later to f4, which would be quite unpleasant for me because I would have to cover the a4 square probably with this pawn move. Anyway, so now I moved a4, just fixing the pawn structure, making this pawn chain stronger. Also, I'm preparing to move my bishop out, claim this diagonal here, and attack his queen, forcing him to lose even more time. He's trying to break my pawn chain here now, but unfortunately for him this is a little bit too slow. my bishop comes here to a3 as planned, claiming this diagonal. And now the queen either has to retreat or he has to block. So he blocks, which is good, because this move also enables this bishop to come out, presumably to g4 square or maybe to e6 square also. It's also possible. Now I simply castle. I put my king into safety, and now I'm ready to really start my attack and open the position. Once your king is safe, and especially if the opponent's king is not, you may want to open the game as quickly as possible and hit the enemy king with all you've got. So now I'm intending to go d4 and open the position, and with his king still stuck in the middle, he's going to have a very difficult time defending. He plays c5, which is an okay move because it blocks this diagonal. My bishop is now kind of useless. However, it's a pawn move, and he's not really developing his pieces, and his king is still stuck in the center. Besides, I can still go d4, which I did. And now he made probably the worst mistake in the game, because he took on d4 with his pawn, which is a very bad move. It might not be so obvious why. So why is this such a bad move? Well, the reason is that this pawn was an important defender of this square. He was blocking this square actually. He's a good blockader. Now he's gone, I can simply trade here, and my intention is just to move my center. I will get kind of a moving center now. These two pawns will just roll forward, my rooks will come here, and it's very easy game, very easy to play and very hard to defend. I think actually right now black is lost, I would say, or very close to losing already here. Oh, he took on d4, which doesn't really make a difference. I take back. Sorry. Now he's moving his queen. Probably he wants to develop his bishop here and get his king castle into safety. Fortunately, there's not enough time for that, because now I put my knight here on f5. I'm hitting this square, this square, this square. I can still go back if he pushes me, but I just, for the moment, I want to stay here. See, my knight is on a beautiful position in the center of the board, controlling 8 squares around him. But compare that to the position of his knight here, who has only 3 squares available, and well, none of them are really available because he can't really move to any of them. So you compare the activity of the pieces, and then you see why is white so much better here. He moves the queen to c7, probably to unblock this bishop and exchange his knight. Well, but I don't mind the exchange, I'm not afraid of the exchange. And now that his queen is here on an open file, now, I put my rook on the same file with an indirect attack on the black queen. So now here actually I'm threatening a tactical blow, because, well, he didn't play this in the game, but if he played his, well, let's say he played his bishop here, let's say he played this, and maybe he wants to go here and castle. Well, this would be a big mistake, because I can simply take this. I'm uncovering a check. Well, I'm attacking with a check, right? But I'm uncovering an attack on the queen. First, he has to parry the check, because that's the priority. You have to escape the check or take it, so he has to take. And now I just take the queen for free, because you see, there's no time for the queen to retreat when the king is busy with his king. Like, the king has to move first. So this is an example with what might have happened, and this would be a nice, well, very simple but still nice tactical blow. So you should always watch out for things like this. Always check whether opponent can play any check, can sacrifice a piece, or whether, like in a position like this, when the rook is on the same file as the queen, then you should be very careful and probably move the queen as soon as possible to some other spot. Okay, so he didn't play this. He played b6. Well, actually here, yeah, and he's attacking my knight. So I should do something about the knight. But should I retreat? Well, not necessarily. I can parry this threat with a counter threat of my own, and that is bishop to b2. I'm claiming the diagonal. I'm attacking this knight, which is unprotected. And if he takes, I can take back, take it with a check and uncover this file. So I'm all happy with this if he takes. And indeed he took, which is not good, because now this is going to open here. But first, I simply take back the knight. Well, I'm attacking the rook. I'm also countering important squares here. He moved the rook to escape from the bishop. Also, I should be a little bit careful now because he's hitting this, and this can come under pressure if this opens. But so far it's good for me. So I just take back the pawn here on f5. I'm uncovering a check. He didn't check. He has to do something with his king. Now it's basically lost, but he's just tried one last desperate defense. He just blocked with his bishop, but now obviously I can just take, which I did. And he made a last nice attempt at counterattack. He moved his queen here, so he's now attacking the the g2 square with both of his pieces. So he's essentially threatening mate in one move. If I'm not careful, if I make some, I don't know, some random move such as this, then he simply checkmates. Well, but obviously I see that, right? I saw that immediately, so I have to do something about it. Again, I could parry it. I could simply play this pawn here, and then it's all fine because it's blocked. But I have an even better move, which is simply to take here with a double check. Actually, now I'm checking here with my pawn and with my queen, so he has only one move. He has to retreat here. And well, actually he resigned at this point because it was hopeless. But if he retreated here, well, in that case there are many ways to win, but probably the easiest is this. Actually, yes, this is the maiden one. So his king cannot move. This is covered by the rook. This is covered by this bishop. This is also covered by the bishop, and this field is covered by my pawn. And this he can't take back because my queen holds this. So, right. This game is just a small illustration of how a successful attack can happen easily. I think the critical position was probably here. This is worth remembering. If you are defending and you are in a somewhat passive position like this, you want to keep the position blocked. You don't want to open your king like this. Here, he should have simply just developed his pieces and tried maybe something like this. And well, followed by bishop here and then castling. Right. So the game, I would still continue with my attack, but he could still go something like this. And then I open the game. But important is that he captures here and keeps this pawn on this square, so that this pawn blocks the advance of this pawn. And yes, I'm slightly better here because my knight can go here and here maybe. I have the control of this file, I have a very good bishop here that's hitting this. I have a bit of a bad bishop here, which is blocked. And, well, here's a very bad knight here. But his bishop can come here later. His rooks can also come here. This is fine. This is still okay for black. White has a small advantage, but it's still very playable for black. So, see, just one move and it all falls apart. Taking was wrong. Keeping the pawn here was correct. And maybe just moving the queen and just getting the king to safety was the correct defense. Would have been the correct defense. Okay, so, well, you've seen a game against a weaker player, but still I think it's very instructive on some points of those positional and tactical motives can be seen in this game. And this is basically how you can attack. You develop your pieces, you get your king to safety, and then when time is right, you just open the position, capture and move your pawns forward and open the file against the king, and then later, once it's open, the king is in the open field, he's close to being dead. Right. And in the end, when winning, keep an eye on some tactical threats like this, because it would be a shame to throw away a game or one game like this. We're just missing this simple threat. Yeah. So, thank you very much for your attention. I hope you learned something. I hope I explained some basic points clearly enough. And I wish you a lot of success in your own games. Goodbye.